about ready to go live.
Hello.
Hello, is that Doreen?
Welcome, Doreen.
Hi.
Hi, Doreen. We are live. This is Dee Meyer, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Living in Oneness and Spirituality in Action call with today's special guest, Dr. Doreen Virtue. I'm Dee Meyer, here with my colleague, Nanette Rogers-Kennedy. We are the co-coordinators of JumanityStream's Spirituality in Action program. JumanityStream has over 100,000 teammates in 150 countries. We would like to thank you, our donors, for your support of Spirituality in Action. Without your in-kind donations and financial nurturing, we would not be able to do our work in the world. We have access to so many extraordinary speakers, and today is no exception. It is our great pleasure to share with you Dr. Doreen Virtue. Doreen is bringing in tools to create a life of love through realizing your connection with your higher self, Source, angels, and God. We will be covering what is possible when you learn to take spiritual action by making significant changes for yourself, and all creatures and Mother Earth will benefit. Through the energy of oneness, we can create heaven on earth. By using the knowledge Doreen shares with us today, you will empower positive change to bring out the very best of you. We're going to go deep and cover as much ground as we can during this call. We hope to take a few questions, so if you're on the phone and have a question, please raise your hand by pressing 1 or 2. If you're on the webcast and you can enter your question on the Q&A, please give us your first name and where you're listening in from with your question. Now, Nanette is going to introduce you to Doreen Virtue.
Thank you, Dee, and welcome, Doreen. I want to tell everybody that we have nearly 600 people who registered for today's call, and I'm very excited to introduce you to Doreen Virtue. Dr. Doreen Virtue is a clairvoyant metaphysician who holds a PhD, MA, and BA degrees in counseling psychology. She is a former director of a teenage drug and alcohol recovery program, as well as other psychological programs. Doreen now works with angel therapy in her writing and teaching activities. Doreen is the author of a plethora of books, some of which are The Care and Feeding of Indigo Children, Messages from Your Angels, and Healing with the Angels, and many, many others. Welcome, Doreen.
Hello. It's great to be with both of you, or I guess all three of you and all of your listeners. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you are welcome. We were wondering if you would like to lead us in a 5 to 10 minute meditation, grounding, card reading to set the tone for our call.
Thank you for asking. I would love to. I actually just picked a card for everyone, and it would make a wonderful focal point for a meditation, and it's from my angel therapy cards. It's the card that I drew for all of us is Earth Angel, and the message is, you are a light worker who has come to Earth to teach about love. And it's a beautiful painting of an angel holding the Earth, and there's butterflies surrounding the Earth as a symbol of the transformation, positive, happy, and natural transformations that we're all undergoing. So I'm just going to take a few deep breaths, and I invite everyone to join me, cleansing and centering breath. And with each exhale, if you get in touch with anything that is stuck or distracting, just consciously let it go with each exhale. And with each inhale, bringing in that beautiful energy that's already inside of you and surrounding you, the beautiful energy of divine love. And exhaling any sort of worries, tension, care, giving it to God for transmutation, and inhaling the knowledge that it's safe for you to be relaxed. And just meditating upon that, because that's the key of getting in touch with that love that's already inside of you, is just giving yourself permission to let go and be you. Beautiful, divine, sacred you. Nothing you need to change, nothing you need to fix. Everything's unblocked in spiritual truth. everything's abundantly cared for and divine order. And just giving yourself permission to drop defenses, feel safe, give yourself permission to enjoy, to relax. And in this space is the natural you who is super intuitive and who recognizes that sensitivity is a beautiful part of your birthright and your sacred tools for your life purpose and for manifestation. And all of those cares you have about your loved ones, we send your loved ones beautiful, beautiful healing energy, and we go deeper within our own self, detaching everything else. Doesn't mean we don't care. It just means we have to revive ourselves by, just for the moment, not taking care of others, but taking care of self. Going deep into that heart space where there's a beautiful, beautiful sunlight glowing. And in that light within your heart is God, is you, is Goddess, is your power and your strength and all of your natural, magical, spiritual gifts. The answers to every question you could ever ask are within that beautiful sunlight within your heart, warming your soul, warming your body, warming your muscles, relaxing any tension, healing away any sort of pain or illness or injury or imbalance, resetting you to God's original creation of you, divinely perfect in all ways. All ancient beliefs that would tell you otherwise now fading away like an old dream that you're awakening from. Perfect, whole, complete. You are strong. You are powerful. You are magical. You are loved, lovable, and loving for who you are right now. And if it feels right, give yourself a beautiful hug and honor yourself for everything that you've been through in all of your lifetimes. You've been through so much, and you've done your best in every moment, and you deserve acknowledgement from yourself. I love you, self. And as we love ourselves, we automatically become that big, strong portal of divine love that we came here to bring through our physical incarnation. And if there's anything that you need to manifest, now would be a wonderful time with this group call, pooling all of our energy together as healers and teachers, to really focus upon that intention is already manifest. And allow yourself to feel grateful that all of your prayers have been answered already. We let them go with full faith, not even thinking about how prayers are answered, but just trusting the divine infinite wisdom. Take care of everything. And our job is to follow our guidance. So it is. Amen.
Well, that spoke to me, and I think I can speak for everybody else. It's always a perfect. You got me in my place.
Yeah.
You know, on several levels. So that was very, very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Bless you. Thank you.
We all love your work, and so many of us have followed you for so long. We were wondering if you would share with us how you got on your spiritual journey, your path.
Well, I don't remember not being on it, honestly. I don't mean to laugh about it, but I was fortunate or maybe smart enough, or I don't know. We all have the perfect family for whatever reason. The challenging families, the calm families. It's all perfect for our present life journey and our life mission. And the family that I came into this lifetime are so spiritual and magical, and so I grew up in this. In fact, they were having a hard time conceiving. I was their first child. They were childless for many years, so my mom went to a Unity church and put in a prayer request, and then I was conceived very shortly thereafter. So I came into this world believing, and they taught me before I could even speak, how to visualize, how to manifest, how to use my intuition. So I don't have any conscious memory otherwise. What I do remember is the world before shows like yours, that I was teased terribly, just like that old movie Carrie. I mean, I was treated really bad because, this family, we never went to doctors. We used manifestation instead of repair people to repair our cars, our washing machine, our bodies. And if I would talk about this at school, the kids would, kids are honest, and they would laugh because they didn't understand it. But at the time, it was devastating to my very sensitive little girl soul.
I can kind of relate to that. I came from a similar family, and we knew what things would raise eyebrows and what wouldn't, so you learn kind of early, too.
Oh, well, see, you were taught discernment. I wasn't. And it could be my Aries and Mercury that I just blurt out whatever I think, too, which is good as a teacher.
Huh. Yeah. Well,
but in certain social companies, you put your foot in your mouth a lot.
Yes, I've done that myself. Another thing a lot of people ask us when we have these calls, especially people who are prolific in the writing, is they're very interested in knowing how the writer becomes a writer. Can you tell us a little bit how your path led you into writing?
Yes. Well, I, again, credit my family. My dad is many times published. He's self-published. His name is William Hannon, and he has written hundreds of books about airplanes and model airplanes. And then my uncle, Lee, is a Hollywood screenwriter. And then when I was a child in school, writing was my favorite topic, and I got, the best grades for that. And I did it from an intrinsic standpoint. I really, really enjoy writing. I know that I will never stop writing because it's something I do as a joy, not, for an external reason. And that's what our life purpose is. It's supposed to be something that we enjoy. It's not supposed to be something that's a struggle or unnatural. So that's how you know you're on the right path. If it's something you would do for free.
Right. And I myself am a writer. I have not been published like you have or your father, but writing for me is definitely part of who I am. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can communicate more accurately through writing than speaking.
This is Dee, and I have been so looking forward to our call today. I just can't tell you. Doreen, about 10 months ago, my house was washed away in the floods here in Colorado, and of the things that showed up, that were returned to me from under the roof of my house was your deck of Archangel Oracle cards.
Oh, my goodness.
And on the top was creative writing, Archangel Gabriel, and also what was found was a perfectly intact hand-blown glass ink pen with purple ink. And it was pretty amazing. So I was just absolutely stunned when the opportunity to interview you came up. It was just, I can't wait.
Well, writing is something that's near and dear to my heart. When I wrote the book Angel Therapy, I'll never forget what the angels said about writing. They said that each time an earth angel or a light worker writes a spiritual book, it is the equivalent of a step on the stairway to heaven. And even if people have read that same sort of message before in a different book, yours might be the book that triggers them having that epiphany that, got it. And so it's really important for writers to write. It's before I really got serious and committed to writing books, I felt like I was pregnant with my books, and with a litter inside of me, and it felt really like a lot of anxiety. I likened it to God's alarm clock ringing really loud in my belly, saying go, 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 and I had to work through my own inner fears. I had great fears of rejection, fears of failure, fears of success, fear of all sorts of ego fears that I had to really grapple with, and what it really came down to was, instead of waiting till all those fears died down, is just to write. And then I sent the first book that I wrote to 4 publishers, and they all rejected it, and my ego said, see, I told you it wouldn't happen, and I put my manuscript away. And then I was asked to give a speech at Pepperdine University on the topic of the book. So, I was a psychotherapist back then, and it reinvoked my interest in trying again. So this time I took my manuscript and simultaneously sent it to 40 publishers. So interestingly, it went to 44 publishers, which is the number of, means the angels are with you. And and I sent it to so a total of 44 publishers. I got 4 yeses. And so, I had always heard these myths about authors putting their rejection slips on the wall, but that's a horrible affirmation and negativity. What I did instead is I would throw those out and say, thank you, not now, and just focus on the yeses I got. And that's how I got published, was just tenacity, just keep trying. And interestingly, my first deck of angel cards, which I was strongly guided to make, it was probably one of the stronger amounts of guidance I ever received, and there really were no cards like that out at the time. There was a few decks of course, tarot, and then some, other cards, but the deck that I really felt guided to make was so unique that my publisher didn't think anyone would buy it. And so at first when my publisher said no, I said, okay. And then the guidance just kept pushing me, so I went back to my publisher again. They said no. They said no 4 times, or actually 3 times. The 4th time they said, yes, we'll publish 500 decks. I think they did it to get rid of me, just okay. And those 500 decks came out right before Christmas, around, would have been about, I don't know, in the 1990s. It was called Healing with the Angels. And the 500 decks sold in a week. And the publisher said, oops. And they went to publish another 500 decks, another 500 decks, and then Target put in an order for it, which surprised them. And it just organically has kept going. Nobody expected the success of the Oracle card decks. They just were purely guided.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to shift gears on us here. Really, one of the major focuses of our call today is to bring awareness to the dolphins in the Japanese Taiji Cove. And I'm wondering, Doreen, could you share the story with us of what is happening there?
Well, and I have angel bumps talking about this. I live in the Hawaiian Islands, and I've spent a lot of time with the wild dolphins in the ocean. And so while I'm not a dolphin expert, I've had enough one-on-one time with them organically, where they come to me. I don't go into a captive pool. I have done that, and I've even written about that, but I'm talking about years and years of scuba diving and snorkeling with wild dolphins, and then studying and writing about the Taiji Cove, which was brought to our attention by the movie of the same name, The Cove. And the whole industry, as I've studied it, and really taking as much as I can the emotion out, so I can really understand it as a way of, helping and hopefully resolving this. This is a tradition that goes back years of the fishermen feeling like the dolphins are competing with them for fish. That's the first part. And then the aquariums, the aquariums that house cetaceans. Most famous is SeaWorld, but there's many, including, unfortunately, hotels in the Hawaiian Islands. And, and elsewhere in the United States and throughout the world where it's considered entertainment to go swim with a dolphin in captivity. Those aquariums are actually paying for the capture of babies. So the boats will take the wild dolphins and prompt them to go into this cove, and then they'll go through and they'll choose the baby dolphins to sell to the aquariums. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to fly these babies into captivity. And they separate those babies out, and then the babies watch while the rest of their family, most of them are just heinously slaughtered. And dolphins are very, very similar to humans in that scientists have found that humans, dolphins, and manatees, which is also another species that's exploited quite a bit and captured for captivity, but they're the only species, manatees, dolphins, and humans, that will cry tears because of sadness and emotions. Other animals cry because of colds. Now, all souls have emotions. This whole outmoded belief that only humans have emotions. Thank goodness we're past that. And so we now know, and if anyone's interested in this, I've written about this in my book Mermaids 101, which shows pictures of me swimming with dolphins. And the theory called aquatic ape is fascinating. There's many books on this. You can go on internet and on your search engine type in aquatic ape theory. You'll find that the scientists, including myself, who ascribe to this, believe that the dolphins and the manatees are our ancestors, not the apes, because of so many similarities that we have to them. And so because dolphins, their skeleton makes them look like they're always smiling, and it's really kind of a distraction because they're not really smiling. It's just the curvature of their jawbone. They are so beloved because of that smile and because they're cute and cuddly. And so now that the word is out about the heinous slaughter and then the sale of the baby dolphins, the capture of them, it's upsetting to us who are sensitive. Many light workers have come to me and said that they are shutting down. They just can't even handle knowing about this. They don't know how to handle this. You have a wonderful petition to go out. I've been a part of petitions for every year that I've known about this. What's interesting, and again, I've had to take my own emotions out of this to really understand it because I'm trying to work towards solution. My first few years dealing with this, I was just in tears, and now I've really gotten to this place where I'm trying to see the meta, the big thing. Now, what the Japanese counter, and they do have validity in this, is that in other countries there's traditions of killing animals, and they don't see the difference. They point out that in America, 45 million turkeys are slaughtered for our tradition of Thanksgiving. And they said, well, we kill 23,000 dolphins. You kill 45 million turkeys. What's the difference? And while some people might say, well, you can't compare turkeys to dolphins, then other people will say, well, turkeys are sociable, family-oriented, very intelligent animals, so you can compare them, and they are raised even more in a lot more cruel conditions than these wild dolphins were. So the whole thing brings up probably at this point unanswerable questions. What can we do? I think signing petitions does work. I mean, we see almost every day feedback from the petition companies that show that every petition you sign does lead to happy endings when enough people sign. I mean, we've seen a lot of shifts in social arenas. We've even seen shifts in the equally heinous crime in Canada where the baby seals are clubbed. We've seen, because of the social pressure, that the European Union has outlawed the sale of these seal byproducts, and that we've seen the pressure that PETA's put on people who wear fur, and that people are ashamed to wear fur publicly. So putting the social pressure on does work. In Japan, of course, they want to save face. They want to be thought of well, and I think that Sea Shepherd is one of the organizations I strongly promote and support, because they really are walking their talk. I mean, Paul Watson, for as controversial as he is, I give him credit that his whole entire staff is vegan. And so there goes that Japanese argument that you guys kill and eat animals. He doesn't. His crew doesn't. I've been a vegan since 1996. I don't push it on anyone. It was my personal guidance. But I want to say that it makes you feel clean about this, that you're not being hypocritical, at least as to me. I don't wear leather. I don't wear wool. I don't wear silk, because I've learned that 1,000 worms are boiled to death for each silk dress, and I just don't want to wear pain energy. And, you know, it's not that hard to be vegan these days. Thank God for all the health food stores and the great vegan restaurants and vegan recipe books. But see, it's a big worldwide issue, you know?
Absolutely. So, and I think that a part of shifting your diet really is going to shift personal vibration, personal energy, you know, that creates a collective vibration, and it's very admirable, the work you're doing.
Well, you know, some people are afraid of giving up meat, because meat is a way of keeping the senses closed down, and if you're really sensitive and you become vegan, you're going to be more sensitive, and especially if you go on a raw food diet. Some people aren't ready to handle that, because when you get that sensitive, you have to make life changes. A lot of people change their job, or they change their relationships, or they move, and some people are afraid of those changes. So it's a big commitment. I have such compassion for people who aren't ready yet, but if you're ready, let me tell you, it's the path of, as you said, shifting and higher energy.
Do you have any other advice for shifting vibration? You know, if they're not ready to shift to a fully vegan diet, if they're ready to take baby steps, do you have any advice for that?
Well, I think that all of us are becoming more sensitive. As I go through my workshops, I've been doing surveys over the years and asking the audience, how many of you feel like you've become more sensitive? And the numbers are way up. And interestingly, more men, including straight men, are raising their hands and really admitting that, yeah, I'm becoming more sensitive. So it's no longer considered just a feminine energy to be sensitive. It's a beautiful part of our spiritual gifts to be sensitive. It's that, to me, the indigo generation, which are the strong-willed leaders that are so stepping forward with amazing inventions, and they're creating new sustainable companies. You know, like there's this great company that started a few years ago. I don't even know how old they are, but it's these shoes that are called the People's Movement, and the shoes are MOVMT. But if you look at People's Movement shoes online, they are made from the plastic that is recovered from the gyres in the ocean. And then they give back a portion of all proceeds from these amazing vegan shoes. I can attest, I wear the running shoes from the People's Movement. They give back a portion to organizations that are helping to get the plastic out of the oceans. So, you know, these are what the sensitive people are doing, is they're making solutions. I do see progress. You know, a lot of times people come to me and they're feeling like the world is you know, going downhill, and I really think that we just need to focus on all of the beautiful new outcropping of solutions that are happening, and that helps us as sensitive folks. Another thing is just to go with your sensitivity instead of fighting it. I recently found that I was getting really sensitive to any clothing I was wearing that was not sustainable, that was made in a sweatshop, and so I just got rid of all that clothing. I donated it, and only now have clothing that is made, you know, like on little Etsy shops. Etsy.com is not even mom and pop shops. It's mom shops. A lot of it is women staying home with their babies and sewing sustainable clothes. It's wonderful, and the prices are better than any department store I've been to, and I wear vintage because it's a good way to recycle and upcycle, and if you buy vintage cotton before 1990, that's before cotton became the #1 GMO fabric. So, you'll be buying it before a lot of the toxins were put on the clothing. So there's a lot of good we can do. I think following our guidance is our number one path that we have to take. And so if you're being told to change something, your ego is going to argue with you. It's going to argue and tell you can't do that, and it's threatening. I've been through that so many times. I've written about how I was told to quit drinking wine many years ago and quit drinking coffee, go to yoga, all that. Boy, I fought it for a long time. But when I finally surrendered and listened, all those rewards were sitting there waiting for me. And it's the same way for everyone else.
Beautiful. Doreen, we have questions coming in like crazy. Would it be okay with you if we take a live call or answer some of these incoming questions?
Yeah, what helps me, and especially if they're asking for a reading, is I need the person's real first name. I don't need their last name. I just need their real first name.
Okay. Would you like to take the live call first, or how about, which is better? Okay, let's take the live call, Nanette.
Okay. Let me bring Elliot. Are you there? Elliot? Elliot may have his hand up accidentally. So back to you, Dee.
Okay. I have, let's see. I have so many thank yous. First off, there's just tons and tons of thank yous. I have Carla, and her last name is, you want first and last name and location?
Yeah, just first name, yeah. And
Carla,
Carla?
in Tualatin. And she said there's a constant battle with her ex-in-law. She's always causing problems and much emotional distress. What can we do to stop this cycle?
When I tune into this energy, Carla, I see a tug-of-war. I see you pushing back against the energy, which is fueling it. They are telling me that to step back, to drop the rope of the tug-of-war, and then the forward motion of their fighting will have no place to go. So it's a real Tai Chi type of transformation. They're also saying to visualize peace. Visualize peace. Now, you don't have to hang out with anyone who's abusive. You don't have to spend time with them. But if there's that disconnect energetically, even if you're not physically together, and it's distracting you from your path and your peace, then it's something that's important to heal. They're telling me that this is a karmic relationship with a past life connection. So they're saying to really, really work on visualizing peace and just to send forgiveness to everyone involved with this. When there's a karmic relationship issue, then it's especially important to work on healing it, because otherwise we will be encouraged to incarnate with them again next lifetime. And so to break that cycle, we've got to heal it now.
Okay, great. We have another hand up on the phone. Would you like to get that one, Nanette?
Sure. Carrie? Hello, Carrie.
I'm sorry, I muted my phone, and I guess that would make it look like I raised my hand, but that's okay. I thought I'd ask a question. I've been trying to write a book for a year now, and it's a really good book, and it really has a lot to say, but I'm so stuck that I've only got 2 chapters, and it's just, I don't know, I feel as though there must be something wrong with me because I can't get any further. It's called The Unification of Antithesis, and it talks about how positive and negative need each other, that they cannot function, that the life cannot function without the interaction of positive and negative, because there would be no energy, there would be no flow, there would be no friction or contrast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's discussing duality in the physical plane, and that's very important information. Do you feel like you've said all that you want to say in those 2 chapters?
Not really.
You feel like you've got more to say?
I feel as though there's a whole lot more to say, like how it applies to individuals,
so there's
how
a chapter.
they can apply it in their own lives, and so forth.
There's a chapter. So you just gave me the next two chapters. So just write that title, how it applies to the individual, how it applies to others. So just write those at the top of a page, and put that page on your altar or where you pray and meditate, and just say, "Thank you, Divine Infinite Intelligence." And I always call on, this is my secret, call on the Archangel Gabriel, however you want to pronounce this angel's name, the messenger angel who helps writers. And call on this angel for motivation to overcome any sort of fears. In your case, Carrie, there's big past life issues coming up because you were persecuted for teaching these esoteric truths in previous lifetimes. They were considered heresy.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, so just, you've still got to do the work, even though you're afraid. In the words of the late, great Susan Jeffers, feel the fear and do it anyway. So
right.
You've got your next two chapters. Take it really a moment at a time like that. So work on the two chapters and then go on to the next two. You can always put a note on my Facebook page, Doreen Virtue 444, if you feel stuck for the next one, and I'll walk you through it. Or I've got a good book called The Miracles of Archangel Gabriel with a couple chapters on how to overcome writer's block with the help of this angel.
Okay.
So that's one I want to get.
Yeah, writer's block just really is about that you've either said everything you want to say and it's a magazine article instead of a book, or it's bringing up those deep-seated fears, and the only way to deal with those fears is to face them head-on, as you know. Okay, so in your past life where you're persecuted, I am willing to release any unforgiveness I may be holding toward those who persecuted me, those who misunderstood me, those who took away my life or my livelihood. I'm willing to release all of that pain, all of the DNA-held energy from any of those lifetimes, and let them go. And then just go into your head and assure yourself that in this lifetime, when you write a book like that, you're not put to death in this lifetime, except for maybe one or two little third world countries where they still do witch burnings. But, that's still even rare. It's not the Inquisition era anymore. In this era, when you write a book that esoteric and that deep, they put you on this radio show, and they put you on the Oprah Soul Sunday show. They celebrate you, in other words. So I hope that helps.
I think she's muted.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, we have.
I don't have any more hands up, so if you have any questions on your end, go for it.
I want to also mention for writers that Wayne Dyer and I, who both live in Maui, we will be teaching a writer's workshop next June 2015 in Maui together, along with Reed Tracy, the president of Hay House. And so that's something, I think it's the middle of the month. It's like the 15th. So be watching for that, because that's going to be an amazing experiential weekend for writers.
Annette, I think we should book that one now.
Yeah, I do too.
That's going to be amazing.
That would be awesome. I just wanted to remind anybody who's joining us, if you're joining us late, my name is Nanette Kennedy. I'm here with my colleague Dee Meyer. We're both from HumanityStream and the Spirituality in Action and Living in Oneness program. And you're listening to us have a conversation with Dr. Doreen Virtue. And Doreen, you've already mentioned a couple things in answering Dee's previous question about what can the average person do to make a difference. And one of the things I was thinking about is that I believe it was Ocean Robbins from the Baskin and Robbins family, who they've gone into major health food mode themselves and promote that kind of thing. And I can't remember what this application is, but I guess you can get it on your iPhone and your Android phone, smartphones, where when you're in a shop or a grocery store or market, you can actually scan something with your phone to tell you whether it's been genetically modified.
Yes,
or
it's called Fujicate. Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
It's a free app called Fooducate, Fooducate. Yes, I use that, and it'll tell you whether it's GMO or not, or whether it might be. I use that all the time. And then if you get the app, they send you a very cool newsletter once a month.
Well, that is really cool, and it's funny. When I was in the grocery store the other day, I was thinking about that application, and I was surprised that made me notice how many people have their cell phones out in the grocery store.
Yeah.
So people are, becoming more conscious in this way, and that is a great thing, and that is a way you can make a difference.
It is. I mean, it's really, we call it, of course, voting with your dollars. It's like going back to the tragedy of the dolphins. The number one way we can all help is to never, ever buy a ticket or pay money to places that have captive dolphins on site. I mean, that's how the whole Cove capturing and killing is funded, is these dolphinariums. And so if enough of us stop going and they don't make money at it, then there's no financial incentive to do this anymore. I mean, it's the same thing with all of the cruelty that happens in the world. I mean, if you've ever researched how veal, which is baby cow, is made, it's stomach turning and heartbreaking. And if enough people stop buying veal, there's no financial incentive for that to happen. So it's the same thing with genetically modified. I love, love, love how everyone is so aware of this now. And there are so many alternatives to genetically modified food, including growing an organic garden in your home on your lawn instead of plants that aren't giving back. If you have an apartment, you can still grow organic tomatoes, which are tough to buy because it's one of the number one GMO foods. You can grow your own non-GMO tomatoes in a basket on your balcony very, very easily, or hydroponics, aquaponics in your place. It's just super, super easy. And then the other thing that is really important in my guidance is to be aware of who the politicians are running. It's so easy to say, oh, all politicians are bad, I'm not going to vote, I'm not going to be a part of that. But then it just leaves the voting up to those who aren't spiritually sensitive. And so I'm real involved. I get out there and I wave signs with the politicians who are for GMO labeling or for GMO banishing. And I make sure and vote for them. And I think that if enough of us who are on the spiritual sensitive path do so, these amazing indigos that are running for office, who really do have great ideals, we'll vote them in. And here in Hawaii, we just voted out this last Saturday in our primary election the incumbent governor of Hawaii. Incumbents never get voted out, but he was voted out 2-1 in favor of someone who is environmentally sensitive. And so this whole new movement is really important for us all to be involved in.
I couldn't agree with that more. And recently we've heard Neil Donald Walsh and Marianne Williamson on phone calls with us talk about how we need to get it into our brains that our spirituality and our politics are very connected, and we need to remember that.
Yep. It's so easy to say, well, I'm going to be an ostrich, put my head in the sand, but your vote could make a difference. I mean, we were working hard to get a politician elected this last Saturday who is in favor of banishing GMOs, because there's this loophole in the Hawaiian Island laws that says that unless a substance is proven safe, it's not allowed in Hawaii. And we are using this in a movement here in Hawaii called the Shaka movement. Shaka means when you put your thumb and pinky finger up and shake it. And Shaka movement is all about sustainability. And so we've now got enough petition signatures. We're on the ballot in November. We are going to vote to get Monsanto off of our islands. And it's legal. And we were trying to vote in a politician who was all in favor of that to oust someone who is in the pockets of Monsanto. And the non-GMO politician lost by a vote of 254 people. So if 300 more people had gotten out of their house and gotten off their couch and voted, we'd be, set. But now it's more of a fight, and we're ready for it to make this happen and make it stick. But this is an example of how each person's vote makes a difference. And if you don't want to do the research yourself, you can go to organizations that you admire, like the Sierra Club does all the work for you. And ask the Sierra Club, who should I vote for? And they've gone through and they've checked who's in favor of the environment, if that's your issue, or whatever organization, is backing what you believe in.
Mhm. So really, the footwork's been done for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't want to read newspapers because you're sensitive, I don't blame you, but vote.
Yeah, I agree. I want to go back to something with the dolphins and the whales here real quick, and combine this with the angels. What angels do you suggest we call upon to help with the protection of whales and dolphins, and for that matter, for any mistreated animals?
Yes. Well, the Archangel Ariel, Ariel, whose name means the lion or lioness of God, is the Archangel of nature and who really protects wild animals, is also a protectress or protector of the animals of the waters. So Ariel would be a wonderful angel who's very soft energy to call upon and to watch over our beloved cetaceans, as well as the gulls, the birds of the sea, and the lakes and the rivers, and the waters themselves. I know that our friend Neil has talked extensively about the importance of protecting our water, and so you can call on Ariel to get messages about how you can help to protect our water sources.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it really is prayer. I really do believe that we're on the right path. I really do. I mean, 10 years ago, you didn't hear about any of these things. But now the darkness can no longer hide, thanks to all of us becoming more sensitive and the Internet. I mean, we all know what's going on.
Well, it's, we have such a large group within Humanity's team, and just taking action together and becoming more wise and more loving and communicating, I think, are keys for us to really get the word out and become more intentional in our politics and more intentional in our diet and that sort of thing. We have so many people writing in to say thank you. I won't be able to mention them all. Gary Eby in Cave Junction, Oregon, is one of our leaders and also an author and such a dear friend. I just want to say thank you for writing in, Gary. He says yes to the power of divine self and our connection to Spirit Source and all are good. We are all one. Blessings, Gary. Thanks, Gary. I have so many people asking for readings, and I know Nanette and I have tons of questions we're not going to get to. But I would like to ask a few more readings for our friends writing in, if that's okay, Doreen?
Of course, yeah. I just need their real first name. That's how I do readings.
Okay. Cindy, do you need their location?
No. Cindy, I just need to know how it's spelled, because sometimes Cindy's with...
C-I-N-D-Y.
C-I-N-D-Y.
And what messages do my angels have for me?
Cindy, the angels first off are talking about detox in your diet, and they show me wheatgrass. They show me a lot of greens around you. They said, I'm hearing clearing out the old and bringing in the new, which, interestingly, is the major energy we're going through this week anyway. With the super full moon, it's really just a big shift of releasing. And so for you, you've been stuck, and they show me a real need to get moving, get your body moving. Gentle yoga would help, getting outside of the house more. Gardening is really, really good for you. You have such a connection to greens. And, your angels have a sense of humor, too. They said you're worried about finances. They said greens equals green, meaning abundance for you, sweetheart.
Jerry, G-E-R-I, writes in, Hi, Doreen. Thank you for the work you do. I look forward to meeting you in Pasadena in October and becoming a certified angel card reader. My question today is, can you sense something more I need to be doing to actively participate in what I feel I am be?
Jerry, when I look at you, I see that you've got beautiful high energy and a lot of enthusiasm, but what they show me is the people around you, you've been kind of dampering yourself because they're slowing you down, or there's people pulling you down with their low energy. And so it's really important for you to consciously work on calling in some new high energy friends to be around you physically. I know that on the internet and groups you've got some friends, but they show me a real need to spend time with high energy people. One easy way to do that is to join a dance class. That could be a movement class like yoga. I love belly dancing, and Eastern dancing classes is a wonderful way to connect with amazing people. Any sort of exercise that you used to enjoy doing, or even artwork, you really are sensitive to other people's energies, and you've been pulled down and allowing yourself to pull down to match some low energy people around you. You don't have to let those people go unless it's truly toxic, but you do need to supplement them with one or two high energy friends.
Okay, great. Doreen, we have so many questions that both Nanette and I would love to ask you, and we just are not going to have time to get to them all. We will love to have you back, but we'll get to what we can. One of the things, and you can tell me if we don't have time to talk about it, I'm interested in, is some of the principles. I watched a video of yours where you were talking about 7 principles of hermetics, I believe.
Yeah.
And one of them that I thought might apply to this situation with all animals that are suffering is polarity, and how we can apply the principle of polarity to the situations all over the world, especially the dolphins in Taiji Cove. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if you could give us an example of how we can use that principle of polarity.
Yes, that's a great idea. I love that application. So this is from my book, Divine Magic, which was an updated vocabulary for the ancient book called the Kabbalion, not the Kabbalah, the Kabbalion, which is the Hermetic manifestation secrets. It was a verbal tradition put into written words, and yet the language was very, very patriarchal, male, and archaic. So word by word and prayer by prayer, I updated it to the book Divine Magic. And so polarity is one of the 7 Hermetic principles that really acknowledges that in the physical world there is duality and opposites, but they're part of the same pole. So rich and poor, sick and ill, light, dark, hot, cold, they're one and the same, 2 different ends of the pole, and then there's variations in between, shades of gray. And so what the Hermetics teach is that you can visualize any issue that's bothering you, in our case, the dolphin slaughter, and notice if there is what end of the pole it's on. So, for instance, do you consider it, the most heinous and upsetting of all things? Then you would be on the bottom part of the pole in terms of how you're feeling and thinking about this and how the situation is. So the Hermetics teach that you can meditate up the pole. So if you imagine a line going up the pole, almost like on an audio mixing board. So make the line go up the board, up the pole, and then put it toward the top to the pinnacle experience that you can think of a solution happening. And then lock that line across the top of the pole. Put clamps on it so it stays up there. And the physical experience will follow the energetic intention. And you can do this for any area of your life, manifesting more abundance, love, motivation to write, being published, opportunity to speak, whatever it is that you're feeling low about, just meditate and push the line up the pole. So that's a great solution. I love that. Thank you for the suggestion.
Absolutely. Nanette, I'm going to turn it over to you. Oh, I'm going to take this now then. I just got a quick note from Nanette. So I think we have time for one more quick reading. And Doreen, I want to honor your time. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm good.
So if you're good to go over a couple of minutes, I'll go ahead and pick one more reading,
And if you don't mind, I just want to mention that I'm so excited because, as you know, I'm retiring from traveling after this year to do online video classes. And I have so much joy about this. And I just yesterday released my third video class, and probably my favorite, called Clairvoyance Therapy. And this is based on my classes I've taught about opening the third eye and becoming profoundly clairvoyant with control. And so if folks are interested in becoming clairvoyant, they can take my class anywhere in the world at their own schedule. And I'm keeping my classes super low priced because really traveling is what drives up the cost of workshops, as you guys know. So this class is only $33 for a 3-hour video course. You can watch as many times as you want and download. And it's at clairvoyancetherapy.com.
Well, we are super excited to learn more about that. And, you know, I think that I'll take one quick one from I did Jerry already. And if you have a few minutes, I have Liliana, that's Liliana, writing in, thank you for your person, your books, and everything you do to help me in my spiritual growing. I have a question. How can I improve my intuition? And you might have just answered that question with your classes you were talking about.
Yeah, the clairvoyance therapy class is all about clearing out any sort of blocks to clairvoyance. So I would recommend that. As I tune into you, Liliana, they show me that you have, and this is in no way am I pressuring you with this, but they said you've developed the worry habit, that you worry a lot about your family, about the world, and it's part of your sensitivity that's been directed into the fear zone. And a lot of times this is because someone like you has a big purpose. Your purpose, Liliana, involves doing a lot of prayer, which interestingly, your past life, immediate past life, you were a nun where you enjoyed doing prayer, and you didn't have those pressures of having, you know, the family or worrying about your bills being paid. You just sat there and prayed in the convent, and it was a really, really happy life. And now in this lifetime, you love your family, and you're joyful you have your family, but it's distracting you to worry about them so much. So I want to remind you of something you already know deep in your soul. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, take those worries and say, here, God, them to the divine, who has all the solutions, all the protection you want. You worrying doesn't help your family. It actually can attract the things you're worried about and be self-fulfilling. And so instead of whatever you're worried about, put the words, please God, help me with, in front of the worry, and that shifts it into a prayer, which does help things. Beautiful.
I think that one applies to everyone listening, is that asking for God to take the problem, you know, just co-create with God.
Absolutely.
And you lose the fear.
Absolutely. And God is one with your higher self, so it's you know, it's not giving over your will to a foreign will. It's really your true will when you give it over.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, as it always happens, our hours fly by.
Flew by. Amazing.
Yes,
you guys are awesome. I love the energy of all of your listeners, and sending everyone here my gratitude for all the work that your humanitarian programs are doing.
Well, thank you, Doreen. And we want to be in touch with you because we'd love to invite you to be on our Global Oneness Day. Tell us we'll get in touch with you.
Okay, sounds
off
good.
the air on that one.
Okay.
But we want to thank you so much for being with us. And I just wanted to know if you'd like to mention a couple of, or your website and, you know, where people can find your books. I know you just mentioned one workshop, but if you wanted to give out your...
Well, I mean, I'm on Facebook all the time, so you can go to facebook.com/DoreenVirtue444. If someone wants a reading from me, I do readings every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Hay House Radio. I have a few more workshops I'll be doing physically, and then that's it. You can find those workshops at angeltherapy.com or DoreenVirtue.com. It goes either way. And then my online workshops, clairvoyancetherapy.com. I know that's a lot of information I just gave out, but I know that everyone's guided to exactly where they need to be, and I'm sending lots of respect and love to you.
Thank you so much again. And for those of you who are listening either live or listening to the replay, we will send out the email, or not the email, the website addresses that Doreen just mentioned. So you don't have to worry about that. We will do that. And you can listen again as soon as this show is over. I just want to remind everybody that Dee and I will be sending out information about our upcoming Power of Prayer call with Reverend Michelle Savacco, and our Healing with the Angels with Debbie Savatsky, and our 12 Spheres call with Steve Farrell, Barbara Marks Hubbard, Barbara Fields, and Anna Marie Petiers. So until next time, thank you so much, Doreen, and thank you everyone who participated in today's call.
Thank you, and namaste.
Namaste.
To Maestro Conference. Please enter the conference PIN number followed by the pound key. We're sorry, that PIN isn't valid. Please check the number and try again. Please enter the conference PIN number followed by the pound key. Sorry, I don't recognize that PIN. Please try it again. Please enter the conference PIN number followed by the pound key.